How are we doing, guys? You guys tired after all the fun last night?
We're tired, but you must be really tired, or maybe you haven't gone to sleep, because I'm pretty sure you were up around 4 a.m. watching this event, Floyd Mayweather, Logan Paul, which leads me to my first question right away. I want to jump right into it, Eddie. First of all, welcome to the show. Jake Paul puts out a tweet. He says, obviously Canelo puts out a tweet with the shaking head emoji, putting his hand on his head, and Jake says, "I will eat you alive. You can't sell pay-per-views. You can't sell pay-per-views." Give me your response to Jake Paul right away, Eddie.
What's happened to the world, eh? What's happened to the world? I mean, firstly, I didn't stay up to watch it. I did wake up in the night and check my Twitter feed. I was actually really pleased for Cuba, Luis Arias, to win the fight. It was a good one. And then I was just like falling in and out of sleep. I couldn't believe how few tickets they'd sold, to be honest with you. It's kind of weird. Like, I'm sure it performed well on pay-per-view, but there looked like there was actually no one there. That was my first, thoughts. And then I've seen some clips and stuff like that, and I'm just like, what has happened? It's really caused an interesting debate, hasn't it? I just saw a post from Ricky Hatton where he was saying like he was quite appalled by what had happened, and I don't know, I guess being a promoter, kind of learned my lesson not to criticise stuff too bad, because you never know what you're going to do in the future, but at the same, and I've done, when I did Logan Paul against KSI, it was two guys that were pretty limited, right? But two guys that were of the same level, and two guys that wanted to win so bad. And this never felt comfortable for me, because, and actually, the person that's made this look worse on than anybody, and he probably don't care, is Floyd Mayweather. Because I thought Floyd Mayweather looked quite terrible, really. Like, and if you're a young fan, or you sort of look at Floyd Mayweather last night and go, "What? He was the best ever." You know what I mean? I know that Logan Paul was kind of hanging around and hugging around, and I don't know. I mean, I think I always said from the outset, I thought this was really a bad look for the sport. And I don't think it did the sport of boxing any favours, that particular event. I don't mind Jake Paul against Tyrone Woodley. I don't mind it. Jake Paul's out there, he's taking the sport seriously. Tyrone Woodley is probably not that good at boxing, so they're kind of like on a similar level. But last night was just, I feel like the world we live in today, when you've got a guy out there who says, boasting at the press conference, this was what it was. It was a legalized bank robbery, and I was just taking your money. God, that's, we live in it's been a tough year for everybody, around the world. Like, that's not really what it's all about. But listen, it is what it is. Then you've got other people saying, listen, they're making them money, good luck to them. So I didn't like the look, but it is what it is. And I saw the other problem, wasn't it? The Showtime app and the online system.
Oh, yes. Very bad.
So all a bit of a disaster, really.
Yeah, I didn't experience that. I have regular cable still. But Eddie, you know what happens a lot of times when you give your opinion on something, you tend to get tested with the same thing. That's why we have to be careful with how we judge things. So you might have to eat these words or stand by your own integrity, what you're saying. Because if Canelo come to you and says, hey, I want to fight this YouTuber, or I want to fight Conor McGregor, what do you say when you have the opportunity to make so much money?
Conor McGregor, look, we saw him fight Floyd, and this is a fighter, right? This is a mixed martial artist. He has previous experience in boxing and as a striker. So but I will stand by my words in this respect, and I won't. What I won't tell you is I will never do a fight involving a YouTuber. But I promise you, if I do, it'll be a fight where you actually don't know who's going to win the fight before it starts. It won't be an exhibition. I have zero interest in doing an exhibition.
I'm happy to hear that.
But at the end of the day, I don't mind when two guys want to go at it. I still feel a little bit uncomfortable with it, but I can't, honestly, if Canelo Alvarez come to me now and said, I want to fight, I don't know, Bryce Hall or I'd have to say no. Right. That's hard for me to do if there's a lot of money involved. That's how strongly I feel about it, right?
Okay.
But you know, hopefully Canelo's not watching, just in case he doesn't.
Oh, he's watching.
Well, apparently he obviously
By
doesn't
the way,
like.
saying the one question I ask myself, because you get fighters being quite opinionated, a bit like Ricky Hatton, right, in this instance. So fighters say, like Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion, would never want to do that for the sport of boxing. That's my honest opinion. Canelo Alvarez, like any man, you know, any athlete, wants to always maximise it. I think he has too much respect for the sport of boxing to do something like that, personally. Floyd has never been about that, you know, and I like Floyd's, you know, honesty to say, yeah, I'm just taking your money. Yeah. So all you guys, give me the money and I'm going to fight. But honestly, I believe Canelo would never, ever want to be involved in an event like that, honestly.
Understand there's a little bit of ego where, you know, these are all fighters. When sometimes Floyd gets called out. He never called out Logan Paul. He never called out Conor McGregor. He got called out. And when you're a fighter, it's hard. Forget the money. It's kind of hard to even get called out and not step to it.
If that was the case and he really had a little bit of ego or personal gripe, he would have at least gone in there with a little bit of intent. Do you know what I mean? But listen, you know Canelo, you guys might know Canelo as good as me. Don't you honestly believe that he would not go down that route? I mean, you never know.
I do agree with you. I do agree with you on that.
You know, I think if you, and I'm not saying Floyd doesn't respect the sport, but I think if you, like, these are the guys that have an obligation.
You kind of are saying that.
No, but, I mean, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of are saying that. You like, I mean, if he's saying it's legalized robbery and, you know, I think he had some intent. I think he really tried to hurt this guy. I think the guy was just too tall and too much and too in love with him, you know, hugging him. So I think that kind of spoiled everything. He really wanted to knock the kid out.
Well, look, I'll tell you, I wouldn't say, I think it's tough to have an opportunity to make some money. Like, I don't know what the fight does on pay-per-views. I know as far as the arena, Eddie, I will say this though, I was comparing it to the last time we were at Hard Rock Stadium, just the look of it.
We're only allowed 15 now, right? And we sold every ticket.
Yeah, so, no, I did compare it to that.
Audience act. When we did the Logan Paul against the KSI fight, we still did like 14,000 at Staples. But I expected it to sell like that, and it didn't, because they're not, this audience, they'd rather watch it on their phone in their bed, right? It's a much younger demographic. They're not, but you know, they're not as socially interactive in person, this new world.
Plus, I believe they're more apt to pirate. People who are more savvy, you know, with this technology, they're more apt to pirate something like this and not pay for it. They're younger.
Well, if you can pirate it in that kind of community, you become a hero.